ACCEND. We've got our 3 elements. Can people see that? Okay, it's a bit small. No. Okay. So it's short for the Aspirant Cancer Career and Education Development Programme. So we call it ACCEND because it's much easier to remember and pronounce. There's 3 key elements. You've got the core capabilities in practice, you've got the education, and you've got the career aspect as well. So what I've pulled out is some of the key things that I think are really important to us when we're thinking about ACCEND. Why should we be interested in ACCEND? Why is it relevant to us? So first off, that it's cancer specific, it's a framework, and it's a development programme for everyone working in cancer. It's also something that's being used nationally and being applied nationally, so it's not just something we're doing in Wessex, and if people are moving around in the country, it's actually something that can move with you, and it'll mean the same thing here as it will in different areas. Jane mentioned earlier that we've got this breadth, and it starts with the supportive workforces, and it goes all the way up to consultant practice. So whilst careers don't move in that linear fashion, there is a part of the framework for every sort of role and every level along the way for those who want to go into the registered careers, which obviously are not for everyone. It's about knowledge, skills and capability, about what can we do, how can we improve our knowledge, our skills and our capabilities. So actually we're working at the best level we can for ourselves, our teams and our patients. It's about that access to training and education, which I've done a lot on this year, making sure that we've got access to the right level of education, making sure that it's specific and relevant to our roles. It's underpinned by 4 pillars of professional practice. And then just at the bottom there, so it is a career and development pathway for anyone working in cancer care. So it's really relevant to all of us. This is the bit I want to focus on for you. So this is the capabilities in practice. So these are what makes up the framework. And this is what's going to be really similar to the HEE, the supportive workforce framework that some of you will be used to working with. What I've put there is this really important part that there is no need to start again. If you've already started working on that framework, it's not about starting again. It's about transferring what you've already done and moving forward with ACCEND. So I'm not going to lie, ACCEND is a really, really large framework. It does cover a number of domains, and when I've put 24 capabilities, they've then got capabilities within them. So it is a really large document. We're going to be realistic about that. I want people to think of it as a personal development journey, not as something that's it's something that you're going to start and you're going to carry on throughout your career and look at what's important for you. And we've got some resources that we've put on the website for you to look about. On our website, Workforce and Education, and you're into ACCEND. And then we've got a supportive section, which is where you've got your development programme and you've got your capability framework. The capability framework looks like this. This can be downloaded from the website. And this is where you'll start to see the breadth. I won't show you too much. But all of your capabilities go down like this. And they're in different sections. So you can actually download it, look at them, and build it in. And we'll look in a moment about how to make this really relevant to you. Whilst I'm not in the presentation, I'll show you the development programme as well. So that was in here, your development programme. So this goes through all your different options for training, which again, I'm going to talk about in a little bit more detail, but I just want to show you where it is. And we've aligned them to the capabilities as well. So in this table here, you've got your different areas, your different types of training that you might want to undertake and how they meet the capabilities. And then the last resource I'll show you before going back into the presentation is the education and training page. If you haven't come across this one, it's in Workforce and Education and it's underneath there. We keep all of our live training events in this upcoming training courses. So if we know something's happening and it's happening in the next couple of weeks or months, it will go there. But actually down here, you've got access to a whole wealth of different topics and there's training within those. So when you're thinking about ACCEND and what it means to your role, what I want you to be thinking about is that framework. Thinking about that training, you've got, as part of the national offer, you've got an ACCEND Learning Hub. So this is something that you can access. You can log in with eLearning for Health, which will record your details. And there's a couple of courses in there, so Foundations of Cancer Care, Essentials of Cancer Care, which are aimed at the supportive workforce and will help you to meet some of those capabilities within the framework as well. Then there's also something called the Principles of Cancer Care programme, which I don't know if that's familiar to a lot of people in the room. It's PCCP for short. They love an acronym. So this is actually a 4-day programme designed to cover a range of different areas. It covers psychological, it covers communication, and we get a limited number of places each year. So I get given those places and then I start to allocate them out to people in the supportive workforce so that everyone eventually will be able to go on that. But it's like I say, we get probably 10 places a year, so look around the room, it's obviously not going so far. Which is why we've designed a lot of the development work locally, and we've been running different training programs, different events, again to meet these capabilities. And I've put my email in here as well. We've got a distribution list for everyone in the supportive workforce, so because you're here today, I'll automatically add you on that. So if I am running something locally, you'll get an email and an invite to come along to that. I've talked a lot about training, which is why I've put that at the bottom, that yes, training does help provide knowledge, but it's not the be-all and end-all. There are so many different ways to learn, to build your capabilities. Anything you're doing in your daily work, when you're shadowing, when you're reading, when you're reflecting, these are all different ways of learning and building your skill sets. So for me, the important part is about helping you feel that ACCEND is applicable to your role, that it's something you can connect with, something you know that you can actually work with. So these are kind of my practical steps for how you might get started, how you might start to connect with ACCEND. So that first one is about downloading the framework that we've put up onto the website. Then I always say those capabilities are for everyone in the supportive workforce, and we've already heard such a breadth of roles today. We know that what an MDT coordinator is doing in Southampton is not what a support worker is doing in Portsmouth. There's so much variety. So take time and go through those capabilities and say, actually, that's really not part of my role. Maybe it could be in the future, but right now, let's just put that one to one side. Then I like to start with the positives. Pick the things that you know you're strong at, you know you've got really good skills, and actually start to document what are some of the knowledge and skills and capabilities that you have in that area. What evidence can you provide to say, I'm competent in this area? And then the next part, which is the exciting part, I think, is about where do you want to develop? What skills do you need to improve? What are you interested in? Where do you want to go next? And then the important part is then having that conversation in your one-to-one or your appraisal with your line manager and sharing what you've done and having that open kind of development conversation with your manager about how you're getting on and where you need their support. So wanted to finish with some top tips there. Take it one step at a time. It really is a large framework, and look at it as that program of development for you. It's a 12-month plus kind of program to work through all those capabilities. Like I've said already, if you've started working on those HE competencies, talk to me, talk to Marion, talk to Mary, and we'll make sure that actually nothing is lost and that's all transferred over. And we've done some mapping. That table I showed you, we've done some mapping from where do the HE capabilities sit with the ACCEND ones. And just at the bottom, just a reminder that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I'm not so strong in this area, I need to develop, I need some help, and reach out to help yourself.